Remember that time all the way back in childhood when you got really angry at something or somebody? It could be any moment, really. At least once in our lives, we had to have gotten so angry to the point where it felt like lava was coursing through our veins. For me, I've definitely experienced that type of anger before, but does that make me a violent person? As a matter of fact, whenever a video game player gets angry that they lost a match, does that automatically label them as violent people? In this persuasive speech, I will explain how video games do not cause violence amongst adolescent video game players. There's a lot to learn about video games and its vastly growing community, such as the percentage of children that play video games compared to adult users. To begin with, let's start with the elephant in the room: video games and aggression. There is a huge bias between scientists and video gamers worldwide. This has led to large amounts of outdated research becoming the title page that covers the truth behind aggression amongst adolescent players. The misrepresentation and misleading scientific research has created a wall between young gamers and the society that surrounds them. Let's look at it from their point of view. They've concluded that violence is a repeating pattern when it comes to young people playing video games on the regular. Well, at first that might be true. How is that any different from getting angry at stubbing your toe on the edge of a bed frame? This repeated aggression these scientists express always seem to leave out the most important piece of information. According to a study by Ferguson and Wing, it would take a younger or older gamer to play M-rated games for up to 27 uninterrupted hours to produce clinically noticeable changes in aggression. Ignoring the actual facts about video games and its long-term effects will disrupt family and school life. A case study has shown that despite a lack of research linking school shootings to video games are frequently associated with those school shootings. This is due to the overwhelming number of false stereotypes that are latched on to teenage video game players. What would you do if you were wrongfully accused of committing a heinous act of violence just because you played a game or two? Now that we have identified and explored the problem of the connection between video games and violence, let's talk about a possible solution. How can we fix the undeniable fact that scientists are blatantly misjudging the observations of children and the effects video games have on them? In some ways, it's simple. One of the solutions that I'm proposing is for this area of scientific expertise to be reevaluated. Now, reevaluation can take a very long time to accomplish, so the first step that these researchers have to do is acknowledge the truth that is right in front of their eyes. Schleffer states that certain longitudinal studies tend to be only a year or two in length and don't go beyond a single developmental period. Thus, scientists don't know whether pathological gaming is a serious, long-lasting issue or whether it resolves itself quickly over time. Not even deciding which information is true or false is a definite reason as to why we need to have a recount of scientists that are doing their job properly. To add on, the scientific community itself is to blame. They failed to offer a definitive answer to the questions on the effects of video game playing on children. The authors Ciordas and Dragas state that many studies are biased by the personal experiences of their authors. The main issue regarding scientists and their opposing research is the observation that their evidence is very one-sided, as scientists' studies should be fair and square, detailing the positives as well as the negatives, and how they correlate with one another. A one-sided attack on video gamers is very disturbing and should be evaluated immediately. Now, what would the world look like if my solution came to pass? Positively speaking, society as we know it will grow to be more accepting of individuals such as young gamers. The newly provided statistics will change the outlook society currently has on video games and the effect of them on people. Furthermore, I believe video games themselves will change in accordance to the overshadowed research coming into light. The solution I explained earlier will create a more welcoming environment for younger adolescents and uplift their mood. This will not only help strengthen family bonds, but could also be a great coping mechanism for children with neurological or psychological disorders. To add on, older players themselves could actually benefit from scientific reform and societal change. According to Butler, the video game Tetris has been proven to ensure that therapeutic gains are maintained after completion of therapy for combat-related PTSD. Now imagine yourself walking down the cold streets of winter during the chilly season of Christmas. You have your thick jacket on and a beanie that warms your body just like a piping hot cup of hot cocoa. Look to your right and you'll see a medium-sized building with bright neon lights reading GameStop. You almost turned away and continue walking when your eyes catch two young children beaming in delight, pressing their tiny hands against the store's frosty windows. After getting home from a stressful day at school, all that those two kids wanted to do was go inside that store and get themselves a fun game to play. Little scenes like that will continue to grow if people viewed video games with a more open mind. As research continues to expand, the video gaming community also continues to grow in numbers. I wanted to shed light on this matter because I am a frequent video game player myself, and I came to show that people like me and video gamers as a whole are not aggressive people for doing what they love to do. Involving yourself with something you enjoy that doesn't harm you or anybody else is not a crime and shouldn't be looked down upon by society. What I ask you to do now that you've learned more about video games and its true effects, I want you to participate in a little experiment. Over the course of a few weeks, partake in video games or watch somebody play them. As you do that, quickly jot down any noticeable changes or observations that you see in yourself, in your mood, or that person in their behavior. As an alternative, simply involving yourself in the gaming community and hearing their personal stories and experiences can help greatly. Thank you.